Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about a metaverse stock that I'm very excited about right now, and that stock is called tokens.com, or ticker symbol SMURF, SMURF. Now, I've mentioned this stock briefly on the channel a few times in the past, and if you've been part of the newsletter portfolio group, you know that tokens.com has actually been a part of my personal portfolio for quite a while now. We also did an in-depth analysis on it in the newsletter, which we'll actually be touching back on in this video today. But the main reason that I figured it was time to finally make a video on this company and share with all of you guys on YouTube is because I feel like this stock is ready for its next leg up, for its next wave to the upside. And the reason for that is because tokens.com as a company invests in real estate in the metaverse. So if metaverses, if Decentraland or Mana, if sandboxes, sand appreciate in value, it's very likely that tokens.com will appreciate with it because they hold real estate in those metaverses, okay? So tokens.com, of course, looks great on the charts as well. At the end of the video, we will be touching on the charts, and I'll give you guys my short and longer term upside targets for SMURF. And actually, I did include this in the title. I figured it would draw some attraction because we talked about RIOT so much on this channel. But I seriously have the feeling that tokens.com, that SMURF, is of the next generation of stocks like RIOT Blockchain, like Marathon Digital, back when Marathon Digital was Marathon Patent Group, if you guys remember that. But I do want to compare these two side by side. This is SMURF today. This is actually RIOT Blockchain back in 2017, you guys. It's crazy to think that this is when I first bought RIOT, and it went all the way up to 45 and back down. It crashed all the way to like $1 before we started covering it, or before I covered it when I started my YouTube channel back in 2020, right? But the reason that I want to put these two side by side next to each other, and what I really want to talk about as we close out this video, is the parallels, is similarities we can see between these stocks that are in very, very hype subsectors of the market. Like, again, although these are obviously very different companies, SMURF, tokens.com, is a metaverse real estate investor, and at least for now, right? And RIOT Blockchain at this time was a very small Bitcoin miner, but after seeing RIOT Blockchain's previous earnings report, these guys are scaling out and doing crazy revenue, doing crazy numbers. And these are very different companies, but they both fall under the cryptocurrency category. They are in very, very hyper growth areas of the market. And they look very similar on the charts as well too, right? Like, you see that classic two-wave pattern, and that's the real thing, you guys. When you're dealing with these small caps in revolutionary sectors like this in the early days, you're going to see a lot of similarities on the chart, and that's why I want to stack these two against each other. So hopefully, now that we've broken out, we can see right here as a little example. Now that we've broken out of this long-term downtrend that tokens.com has been in for the past few months, we can hopefully see, or again, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. There we go. And hopefully we can find some rhymes in RIOT's chart to apply to SMURF today. Okay, but of course we do have to kick it off with some fundamental progress that tokens.com has been making. We're going to start by reading over an article titled "A Metaverse Mogul is Ready to Make His Move After Buying $2 million in Virtual Land." This Metaverse mogul is token.com CEO and founder. We will then talk about a more recent article. I did just mention this in a recent video. Tokens.com partners with Forever 21 for Metaverse storefront. This is huge, you guys. I mean, I'm sure all of you have heard of Forever 21 or at least seen one. And again, if they're partnering with companies like Forever 21 this early in the game, who knows how far they can go. All right, so we'll read over these two. We'll close out the video by talking upside price targets and price action, technicals, whatnot on tokens.com, while also comparing it to RIOT Blockchain in the early days. But first, as I just mentioned a little while ago, I do want to revisit the analysis that I wrote on tokens.com last week in the newsletter, because I went pretty in depth. And again, why try to ramble if I've already done if I've already written all of my thoughts nice and clean like this. Okay, so let's read through this, and then we'll dive into the other all that other good stuff. Before we do, you guys, please give the video a like because I appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. You want to follow the metaverse journey, not only in the cryptocurrency market but in the equity markets as well. Okay, so this OTC, over the counter stock, and remember, you guys, that's that is important to remember as well. This is a very, very small cap stock. This is a penny stock. So it does come with a little extra risk, but it also comes with some reward to balance out for that risk, if you're in the case that you're right, of course. Okay, so this OTC stock was up 20% today, and although it's always easy to think, damn, I should have bought yesterday, I always do my best to remind myself that this is just the beginning of the next wave up. SMURF has corrected 80% from its high, as you can see right there. We'll talk about that a little more later. During the peak of the Metaverse first wave, and we've finally broken the line of resistance and struggled under since then. This is obviously very bullish from a technical perspective. Fundamentally though, SMURF is on the forefront of the Metaverse real estate business, and it only makes sense that they benefit hand in hand with the price appreciation of the rest of the sector. In terms of recent news, you guys have to check this out. This is the Forever 21 article. Again, we'll jump into that. Tokens.com just signed a massive deal with Forever, clothing retailer Forever 21. If they can lock in a client at this scale this early in the game, who knows what deals they can accomplish along the way. I think I just said something like that, but it's obviously, again, my brain. It works like my brain. Unfortunately, options aren't in the question for this one, but I love the fact that we're able to directly capitalize on the momentum we're seeing amongst the Metaverse cryptocurrencies within the equity markets. I have a great feeling about this one. It may be, just maybe, could even be the next generation of RIOT and Mara's. Okay, so again, you guys teasing you with that one, but I really do think that this has the potential over the long haul, because again, you guys, there's a lot of ebbs and flows. That's how the market works. It works in cycles, booms and busts. You guys know the drill. But I do think that this project, with the progress that it's making today, with the steps that it's taking into the future of the Metaverse, which is obviously, again, Facebook is now Meta. Zuckerberg's interview with Tim Ferriss that I just shouted out in a recent video. Go listen to that. It's the future. And the fact that this is the first company that is taking the steps into real estate investment in the Metaverse is huge. And again, they have that first mover advantage, similar, once again, to what RIOT had in the Bitcoin mining sector back in 2017, which is why, although RIOT, I held RIOT over the course of all of this and through all of this as well, which we don't really have to talk about, but RIOT, again, went all the way down to $1, and I held some RIOT over the whole ride and on its way back up to like $80 plus in this past year. But anyway, you guys, if you guys do want, here's the plug, if you guys want one of these bad boys in your email inbox every trading day, and this is just one of 4 on that given day, right? Every day I write a newsletter. That is my job. YouTube is my passion, and it is, I love making content for you guys. I like making videos, but honestly, it's primarily from a business perspective to plug my newsletter, which I put the majority of my work, of my effort, of my mind power into every single day. This is one of 4 in part 2 of the morning newsletter, and then part 1 is the intro where I talk about my trades, explain why I'm trading the way I'm trading, any new positions, any positions I'm closing, and why. And yeah, of course, it comes with a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio. If you want to join the hundreds of others who are part of the True Waves fam, of the real ones, that's going to be the first link down in the description box below. $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. Completely up to you. Go check it out. If you don't like it, just unsub. It's that easy. But I put a lot of work into this, and I feel like it's easily worth this money. But hey, you be the judge of that. I'm biased. Anyway, I appreciate it if you guys check it out. But if not, as always, no worries. I appreciate you watching this video right now. Okay, so let's read over these 2 short articles, and then we'll dive into the charts and do a little dare to compare, okay? So, key points. The man behind a $2 million Metaverse land purchase announces his plans. A 3-day fashion show with big-name fashion labels kicks off next month. It's a new and major push to bring more people into the virtual economy, okay? Move down a little bit. Tokens.com paid more than $2 million for space in Decentraland, one of several burgeoning platforms in the Metaverse, in November of last year. In an interview, Tokens.com co-founder and CEO Andrew Kegel said several big names are about to be part of an online fashion show on the virtual plot. Kegel said fashion brands Tommy Hilfiger, Cavalli, Elisab, Dolce & Gabbana, Etro, and fragrance company Paco Rabanne, those are all kind of tough, all very foreign European names, have all signed up to participate starting March 24th. The show will run over 3 days. There will also be several big names DJs and an after party sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. So, although I'm an investor in the Metaverse, I am very bullish on the Metaverse from, again, a capitalist perspective. I'm definitely not going to this. Please let me know in the comments if you guys happen to attend this. But again, from an investment perspective, these guys are investors. These guys are businessmen and businesswomen, of course, and that's what they're here to do. And again, it's a tangible step into the future of the metaverse, and of course, a step in the right direction as well. Let's cover this quickly, and then we can close it out on the chart. So again, partnered with. Let's read this. SMURF, tokens.com, a publicly traded company that invests in Web3 crypto assets and businesses linked to the metaverse and NFTs, is pleased to share that its subsidiary, Metaverse Group, has signed a lease agreement for its metaverse-based property with Forever 21. In addition, Metaverse Group will collaborate with Forever 21 to design and build NFT wearables and an immersive storefront. Forever 21 will open doors to its metaverse storefront in Decentraland's Fashion District during Metaverse Fashion Week, which takes place from March 24th to March 27th. The dynamic storefront will feature avatars that will act as Forever 21 sales team members, ambient sounds, and custom fixtures throughout. The shop will launch with 10 Forever 21 NFT fashion items inspired by pieces that are available in Forever 21's physical stores and on forever21.com. Okay, so for the third time, if they are locking in a partnership with a company at the size of Forever 21, again, this is a global fashion retailer. You guys have all seen a Forever 21 in some mall wherever you live across the globe. This is big. And again, the fact that they're able to do this, again, who knows what's on the horizon for deals when it comes to metaverse real estate, okay? So that's huge, you guys. Again, these guys have the first mover advantage. That's a big reason I personally liked RIOT back in. I mean, RIOT, for those of you who may not know, RIOT was the first of the game. Like, RIOT was actually significantly before Marathon Patent Group, now Marathon Digital, even though Marathon Digital is more scaled out than RIOT now. RIOT was the first mover. RIOT was the first kid on the block when it came to Bitcoin miners, and that's why I was so bullish on it, and honestly just holding it, waiting for what happened last year to happen. And before we get into the short-term analysis, you guys, I do want to say long-term, like, not even going to get super deep on the long-term price targets because it's kind of a fool's errand to do that. But these two, from a fundamental perspective, for the reasons I mentioned in the beginning of the video, are following a similar trajectory, a similar hype, in a similar niche category of the market, right? And so over the long haul, even if it takes a few years, because again, RIOT for a few years was on a pretty much an overall downtrend, right? RIOT from 2018 to 2020, so for like 2.5, 3 years, RIOT was just pretty much trading in a sideways range, but way below its all-time highs that it set back in 2017 when Bitcoin saw its all-time high prior to this past year, right? So it takes time, you guys. Don't get dismayed. If you believe in a project, if you believe in a company for the long haul, just load up and view every significant pullback as a buying opportunity, and and just give it time, because ultimately that second wave will come, even if it takes a lot longer. But just give it time, and again, if you have fundamental conviction, just grab the popcorn and wait, right? Okay, I always say that in the newsletter. But anyway, looking at the short term, RIOT and SMURF, again, you're seeing this very similar things going down. The two wave, you can kind of call this the first wave right here. First wave, short term bubble pops, but it attracts the attention, it gets the volume, and then you see that real big second wave. You can say this is kind of the two wave right here, I guess. But regardless, that bubble always pops once you see volume, once you see things plateau a little bit, once you see that first big correction. I mean, this was an obvious point at where we were going to see an all-time high there, but we have been in a downtrend. Obviously, SMURF has been in a downtrend with the rest of the metaverse sector for quite a while now, and we saw the same thing in RIOT, right? Like, that's the same two wave. This is a way more textbook of a two wave, if I'm being honest. So first wave up, get that volume, get that attention, go flat sideways, textbook bull flag right there. Big move to the upside once again, followed by a very, very significant downtrend, strong line of resistance. Once broken, this is where it gets important. This is where we can apply this to what might happen in the somewhat short term. So now that SMURF has successfully broken this line of very significant long-term resistance on the overall downtrend. Sorry guys, the sun is just overexposing the shit out of me. But now that it has broken that long-term resistance, what will we see? So in RIOT's case, and keep in mind, you guys, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. The markets right today are actually a lot more efficient than they were just 5 years ago. So keep in mind, you guys, again, markets, history rhymes, it doesn't repeat, so take this with a grain of salt. But you can just get a general idea of what happens once that line of resistance is broken. And again, metaverse cryptocurrency is looking strong right now. We're seeing a resurgence in growth stocks, so I think it's very likely that we do see a similar pattern. And again, Right, from its high to that low, to that short-term low, just over the span of a couple of months, corrected 77%. SMURF corrected like 78, 79% to those lows. And again, you guys, there's just so many parallels that can be found here, and that you can play not just in these two, but in all hyper-growth stocks. And again, that's why we capitalize on that. That's why we have the two-wave theory, right? We capitalize on these short-term trends that really are pushed forward, that are catalyzed by hype and emotion and momentum, right? So anyway, you guys, RIOT on that bounce from that break to the high that it saw and it took 10 days before it fell off a cliff once again. And hey, maybe that happens with SMURF, but over those 10 days following the break of resistance, RIOT did appreciate by about 74%. If we mirror that and take SMURF from the breaking point here at about 74 cents, up 73%. That would take us to about $1.30, which of course is a very, very significant price gain from here. And again, maybe we fall off. Maybe this is the beginning of that second wave. Maybe we kick it back off and start heading to new all-time highs. But again, maybe we travel sideways in a range that is very painful for a couple of years. And hey, that's okay. I've been through it. It's not as hard for me, but if it's your first time, you should probably go through it if you plan on being here for the long run, because that's just the game if you want to play these revolutionary hyper-growth companies, okay? So stay patient, keep your eyes on the prize, and we'll call it a day. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you holding SMURF? Are you bullish on SMURF? Are you bullish on Metaverse real estate? If not SMURF, if not tokens.com, what's another stock you like in this subsector of the markets? And I just look forward to hearing your guys' feedback on this one below, because this one was a fun one to make. Again, like the video. If you're still here, I greatly appreciate you, and I'll catch you next time. And I'll catch you downstairs in the comments, okay? So until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.